Welcome back to International Crime Zone. Today, we explore one of the most shocking and heart-wrenching cases of 2025, the brutal torture and murder of Sam Nordquist, a young transgender man from Portland, USA. Stay with us as we uncover the dark truth behind his death, the suspects involved, and the pursuit of justice that followed. Sam Nordquist, 8, was a beloved member of his community, kind, creative, and active in local LGBTQ+ advocacy. But behind the smiles and everyday routines, danger was quietly creeping. In the week leading up to his death, Sam had been receiving threatening messages, noticed suspicious figures near his apartment, and confided in friends about his growing unease. The combination of subtle threats and stalking painted a terrifying picture of someone meticulously targeting him. On March 14, 2025, the horror culminated. Neighbors concerned by his silence called the police. Upon arrival, law enforcement found Sam's apartment in chaos. Overturned furniture, personal belongings scattered, and the unmistakable signs of violent struggle. Sam was found deceased in his bedroom, restrained and showing evidence of prolonged torture. The brutality was shocking, and the investigation that followed revealed a coordinated crime involving multiple perpetrators driven by hate, obsession, and personal vendettas. The discovery of Sam's body sent shockwaves through Portland. Police documented every detail meticulously. Fingerprints, footprints, and traces of chemical irritants formed a complex web of forensic evidence. Officers noted the presence of multiple DNA profiles, confirming early suspicions of several individuals being involved. The level of planning suggested that this was no random act but a premeditated, meticulously executed attack. News of Sam's murder spread rapidly. Social media exploded with grief, outrage, and support for his family. Community leaders condemned the act, emphasizing the dangers faced by transgender individuals and the importance of swift justice. Vigils and rallies began to emerge as Portland residents struggled to comprehend the cruelty of what had occurred. Sam's death became more than a local tragedy. It was a national conversation about safety, prejudice, and accountability. Family and friends were left devastated and terrified. For them, the apartment was no longer a home, but a haunting reminder of the terror that had unfolded within those walls. Investigators, meanwhile, felt the immense pressure to uncover the truth. The horror of Sam's final moments was compounded by the urgency to find those responsible, to bring them to justice, and to ensure that no one else would suffer a similar fate. In the days before his death, Sam tried to maintain normalcy, but the shadow of fear was evident. Friends later revealed that he had been unusually cautious, avoiding late-night outings and double-checking locks. Social media messages escalated in threat and tone, leaving Sam on high alert. These seemingly small signs would later prove to be warning signals of the danger he faced. Sam also mentioned noticing a stranger loitering near his apartment complex. Though there was no direct confrontation, the repeated presence made him uneasy. Investigators later determined that this person had been monitoring Sam's movements, forming part of a larger, coordinated plan to intimidate and ultimately harm him. The meticulous stalking revealed the level of obsession involved in the crime. Moreover, minor disputes at work surfaced during investigations. Though initially dismissed, they were now seen as contributing factors to the suspect's motives. Sam's anxiety had grown as threats emerged from both personal and external sources, creating a terrifying web of harassment and anticipation of violence. These cumulative pressures set the stage for the ultimate, tragic outcome. The night of March 13, 2025, brought the culmination of months of surveillance, threats, and preparation. Multiple figures approached Sam's apartment under the cover of darkness, masks and hoodies obscuring their identities. Inside, he was restrained, tortured, and ultimately killed. Forensic reports would later confirm the use of chemical irritants and blunt force trauma, highlighting the calculated cruelty of the perpetrators. The 911 call that alerted police came from a neighbor concerned by Sam's silence. Responding officers were confronted with a scene of chaos. upturned furniture, scattered belongings, and the unmistakable signs of violence. The sheer level of brutality confirmed investigators' worst fears. This was a personal, targeted attack, carried out with deliberate intent. As law enforcement secured the scene, they began collecting evidence that would later be critical in apprehending the suspects. DNA, fingerprints, digital records, and chemical traces painted a clear picture of multiple individuals collaborating to inflict harm. The meticulous planning and execution were chilling, leaving investigators determined to bring justice for Sam. Detectives worked tirelessly to piece together the complex web of threats, digital traces, and interpersonal conflicts. Behavioral analysts profiled the suspects, examining motives that ranged from personal grudges to bias against Sam's identity. Each suspect's psychological profile helped investigators understand the cruelty and coordination behind the murder. Interviews with friends, neighbors, and co-workers revealed subtle threats and unusual behavior in the days before the crime. Surveillance footage confirmed suspicious activity, while digital evidence tracked the suspect's movements. These combined insights provided a clearer understanding of the coordinated effort to monitor, harass, and ultimately attack Sam. Community anxiety intensified as investigators worked. Portland residents grew increasingly aware of the danger that had been lurking in their midst. Activists and advocacy groups began rallying, demanding accountability and highlighting the vulnerability of transgender individuals. The investigation became both a personal and societal reckoning, exposing layers of prejudice, obsession, and calculated cruelty. Weeks into the investigation, forensic analysis revealed a DNA match to a known offender. This breakthrough confirmed at least one suspect's involvement and allowed police to trace accomplices. The coordinated efforts of the suspects became clear, exposing a network of individuals who had meticulously planned the murder. Raids were conducted simultaneously at multiple locations, resulting in arrests and confiscation of weapons, devices, and other incriminating evidence. Suspects displayed varying reactions: panic, aggression, or silent acknowledgement. Interrogations began immediately, providing fragmented confessions that slowly illuminated the motives, planning, and dynamics of the group. The arrests sparked both outrage and relief. Portland's citizens, horrified by the cruelty yet encouraged by the progress, watched closely as evidence of the premeditated and coordinated nature of the crime came to light. Sam's death was no longer just a personal tragedy. It had become a public reckoning, demanding justice and societal reflection. Interrogations revealed disturbing truths. Suspects admitted to stalking, planning, and coordinating attacks against Sam. Motivations varied: personal animosity, bias-driven hatred, and peer pressure, all converging to create a horrifying crime. These revelations highlighted not just the brutality, but the psychological manipulation involved in orchestrating the murder. Some suspects detailed attempts to cover up evidence, clean the crime scene, and mislead authorities. Yet forensic evidence and digital footprints contradicted these attempts, revealing the meticulous planning behind Sam's death. Each confession added layers to the narrative, helping investigators understand the full scope of the crime. Family and community members followed the interrogation closely, experiencing both validation and heartbreak. Learning the motives and methods confirmed the fears and warnings Sam had shared, emphasizing the extreme vulnerability of marginalized individuals and the urgent need for protection, awareness, and justice. The pre-trial phase involved meticulous preparation. Prosecutors compiled forensic, digital, and testimonial evidence to build a strong case against multiple perpetrators. The defense challenged credibility and evidence interpretation, emphasizing procedural and technical arguments. The courtroom became a battleground of narratives, each side vying to shape the story of Sam's death. Community involvement was intense. Vigils, protests, and media coverage amplified public attention. Advocacy groups highlighted the dangers faced by transgender individuals, using Sam's story to advocate for legal reforms, education, and awareness. Portland became a focal point for nationwide dialogue on safety, prejudice, and justice. Sam's family navigated grief, anger, and hope. Court proceedings forced them to relive the horrors, but also offered a pathway to closure. Friends and supporters memorialized Sam, emphasizing his kindness, courage, and contributions. Their resilience became a symbol of perseverance and the relentless pursuit of justice. The trial showcased emotional and forensic details. Witnesses recounted Sam's final days, the threats, and his growing fear. Forensic experts explained the crime scene, chemical residue, and DNA evidence. Each testimony reinforced the premeditated nature of the murder and the coordination of multiple perpetrators. Family and friends' accounts humanized Sam, highlighting his humor, dreams, and kindness. Emotional courtroom moments resonated with jurors and the public alike, reminding all present that behind the statistics and evidence was a young life brutally stolen. The defense challenged testimonies and attempted to create doubt, but the prosecution's evidence, including confessions, forensic proof, and corroborated witness accounts, created an undeniable narrative. The courtroom drama exposed not only the crime, but societal prejudice and the importance of accountability. The jury deliberation brought Portland to a tense standstill. News coverage and live updates captured the community's anxiety. Advocates highlighted the stakes, not just legal but moral, reflecting society's responsibility to protect vulnerable individuals. Family members experienced a whirlwind of emotions, balancing grief, hope, and anticipation. Every moment reinforced the urgency of justice and the importance of recognition for Sam's life. When the verdict was announced, relief and sorrow mingled. Guilty convictions affirmed the community's demand for accountability. Sam's story became a rallying point for awareness, advocacy, and systemic change, emphasizing that hate-fueled violence cannot go unpunished. The guilty verdict brought a measure of closure. Family and supporters wept and embraced, knowing justice had been served. Suspects were taken into custody, facing the consequences of their meticulously planned cruelty. Community gatherings shifted from protest to remembrance. Sam's story inspired advocacy, education, and societal reflection on safety, identity, and prejudice. Candles, memorials, and vigils honored his life and courage. Thank you for watching this episode of International Crime Zone. Sam Nordquist's story is one of tragedy, courage, and the pursuit of justice. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment below your thoughts on this case. Together we honor his memory and stay vigilant for truth and justice.